Okay, let's now jump into headlines across Africa. Don't go anywhere.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
All right.
Well, today we're going to Burkina Faso, Guinea, and the Central African Republic.
Nice. Okay.
And we'll start from Burkina Faso, where we'll be reading from the Sedwaya newspaper.
Right.
Well, the headline says Ouagadougou Djibouti Cooperation.
Okay.
3 agreements to strengthen ties.
Right.
On the second day of his official visit to Djibouti on Wednesday, 27 January 2021, the president of Faso, Roch Marc Christian Kabore, visited the presidential palace where he had a working session with his counterpart Ismail Omar Guelleh.
Okay.
The two heads of state, who share the same vision on issues relating to the development of Africa,
Right.
intend to boost relations between their two states and their two peoples. Burkina Faso's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Alpha Bari, and his Djibouti counterpart, Mohamed Ali Youssef, signed 3 agreements.
Right.
The first is a framework cooperation agreement, which identifies a set of sectors in which the two countries intend to invest. The second agreement deals with cultural and artistic cooperation. According to President Guelleh, Burkina Faso, with its rich experience in film, especially with FESPACO, could share its know-how with Djibouti. In terms of the development and promotion of African textiles, he said he was delighted and honored that his country is hosting the International African Textile Fair, CITA, in October 2021. Now, the last or the latest agreement which is signed in Djibouti deals with visa exemption for diplomatic and service passports. This first step should allow, in the long term, the president of Faso, Roch Marc Christian Kabore, hopes during a press briefing to consider an extension of the visa exemption for all types of passports. Now, on economic cooperation, the two heads of state place a special place on the private sector. They have already welcomed the installation in Djibouti of the International Business Bank of the Burkinabe businessman Mahamadou Bonkogunu, whose subsidiary will be inaugurated on 28 January 2021 in their presence. Good things.
Yep.
I mean, when two people with power come together for the common good of their people,
Right.
the only thing we ask is that they actually see that whatever they have put down on paper is actually
Right.
done. We have a lot of paperwork.
But they've not been actualized.
We've not seen the actualization, all the material, things turning into materials.
Yeah. Okay. This is happening in Burkina Faso.
Yeah, that's what was happening in Burkina Faso.
Yeah, that's
We're
what I'm
going to
saying.
Guinea.
Okay.
Now we'll be reading from the Guinea Info Market.
Right.
And the headline says OPEC and the World Economic Forum discuss improving cooperation.
Okay.
The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and the World Economic Forum today held a bilateral meeting to explore possible avenues of cooperation and strengthen dialogue between the two organizations.
Right.
The meeting was attended by Mohamed Sanusi Bakinodo, Secretary General of OPEC, and Pedro Gomez, Head of Oil and Gas at WEF, which is the World Economic Forum, WEF, along with senior delegates from both organizations.
Okay.
Now, the WEF team briefed the Secretary General on the WEF, or International Business Council IBC-led initiative on measuring stakeholder capitalism. In addition, 2 additional community oil and gas workflows
All right.
on resource exchange centers and oil and gas data exchange were discussed.
Okay.
The Secretary General recognized the importance of WEF as a leading global scenario where leaders, officials, and CEOs come together to address key issues relevant to the global economy and the energy industry. Now, this event provided a platform that was novel, indeed revolutionary at the time. Bakindo recalled the founding of the forum, adding that it allowed representatives from the public and private sectors to participate and dialogue.
Okay.
While stressing the strong ties between OPEC and the forum, the Secretary General stated, the relationship between OPEC and WEF is based on shared values, namely a commitment to stakeholders and collaboration and international dialogue.
Okay.
Now, he also explained the importance of cooperation in addressing the COVID-19 global pandemic and its devastating effects through the success of the historic Declaration of Cooperation. I think that's business-wise, it's good when you have great, because OPEC actually is a good organization. It's a big organization.
Right.
Exporting countries that export petroleum are actually part of OPEC.
Yeah.
And the World Economic Forum. I don't see how these two organizations will not be in contact with each other. I don't know how I'll be a country that's exporting petroleum and I will not be in contact with the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
So it's good, but
Doesn't work, huh?
it doesn't work. It's like water and oil. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that both of them are able to sit together and dialogue and see
Okay.
how they can actually deepen further
Right.
their cooperation. And then also, I hope in deepening further, it brings some benefit to the countries that are involved or that are on board on it.
Right. Good one. Yep.
And finally, we're going to the Central African Republic, where we'll be reading from the Abangui newspaper.
Okay.
And the headline says, CIMAC, Budget 2021 adopted by EUAC Council of Ministers. So this was during the work of the 36th regular session of the Council of the Ministers of the Central African Economic Union, UEAC, which was held on 27 January 2021 in Yaoundé, Cameroon. It is under the sign of cautiousness, as stated by the chairman of the committee of CIMAC, Daniel Ona Ondo, that the budget for the 2021 fiscal year of the sub-regional organization was adopted. At 89, it is experiencing an increase of 1.13% compared to 2020, despite the current health context, which was marked by the pandemic linked to the COVID-19 on the one hand, and a downward review of the economy and economic forecast on the other. In his speech of circumstance, the chairman of the committee of CIMAC called on the member countries to set up concrete public policies for better regional integration, because in view of the current health crisis and its impact on the sub-regional economy, the urgent need for the promotion of economic convergence and regional coordination of economic reforms, the promotion of diversification of the economies of CIMAC countries to make them more resilient to various crises. That was a long sentence.
It was. Right.
Well, the preservation of the gains of the free movement of goods and people, the improvement of TCI recovery, the more effective mobilization of external financing, and the need for an alternative community financing mechanism are among a few things he's calling for these countries to do.
Okay.
Requirements that have also been at the center of the drafting of the budget that has also just been validated. Now, in view of the current health situation, the president in office of the Council of Ministers of the Central African Economic Union,
Right.
who is also Minister of Economy, Planning and Medical Development in the production of vaccines against the virus, remains optimistic.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he also believes that the medical development in the production of vaccines against the virus, the entry into force on 1st January 2021,
Okay.
the agreement of the ACFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area
Agreement, yeah.
Agreement, yes, which was ratified by their states, also represents a real opportunity for the promotion of intra-African trade
Yep.
in a dynamic of diversification,
Right.
integration, and greater resilience to shocks.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a whole lot more, but this is like a whole budget reading. So basically,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is a summary of it.
Okay. Well, that would be on africaglobalradio.com, I believe, for more reading, or you'd have to get to our podcast and get to learn more about it later on. Okay.
Well, that's all we have for headlines across Africa.
Okay. Thank you. The show is Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio.